Good day to you all. Learner's Note is an online solution to encourage better ways of learning among our students. I am Sanjana, your chemistry teacher. So let's discuss about atoms and molecules. Atoms are the basic building block of any element, and many atoms combine together by chemical bond to form molecules. So with this basic idea, let's see what are the different laws of chemical combination. The first one is law of conservation of mass. According to law of conservation of mass, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction. So you can see an example of a reaction. Here you are having two reactants A and B, and you are having two products C and D. So when the reaction proceeds, your reactants A and B react and they combine to form product C and D. Here the mass of the reactant A and B should be equal to the mass of product C and D. Okay, this is the statement of law of conservation of mass. Now the second law is law of constant proportion. According to law of constant proportion, in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportion, that too by mass. For instance, let's take the example of water. Water is made up of two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So they are combined in the ratio 2:1. And we know the mass of hydrogen is 1 and the mass of oxygen is 16. So they combine in the ratio 2:1, and according to law of constant proportion, it's always 1:18. This ratio never changes for water molecule. The same condition is applicable for any compound that you take. So that is what you mean by law of constant proportion. So whenever a chemical reaction takes place, these two laws, that is law of chemical combination, which includes law of conservation of mass, and law of constant proportion, is always obeyed. If this is not obeyed, then chemical reaction cannot take place. Next, we move on to few important terminologies in this chapter. The first one is atoms. You know, atoms are the smallest indivisible particle that can be present in an element. So according to the definition, atoms are the smallest particles of an element which can take part in a chemical reaction. The size of an atom is usually measured in nanometers, that is 10 power minus 9 meters. So you can imagine how small it is. Then you have molecules. Molecules are the smallest particles of an element or a compound that can exist independently. Molecules are formed by the chemical combination of atoms. Then you have another important terminology called atomicity. Atomicity is the number of atoms which are present in a molecule. So if you say H2O, then it has got two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen, which makes the atomicity of water is equal to 3. Then the last one is ions. Ions are charged particles, nothing else. Even these are atoms, but then they contain charge. But normal atoms do not contain charge. So the charged particles or atoms are called ions, which are formed by attaining positive charge or negative charge. That is, the ions can be of two types, containing positive charge or negative charge. The one that contains positive charge is called cation, and the one that is having a negative charge on it is called anion. Now, the cation and anion formation can be studied by understanding another important term, which is valency. Valency is defined as the combining capacity of any element. That is, to understand it in a simpler way, let's take an example of hydrogen. Hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. So it has got a valency of 1. That is, in the outermost orbit of that atom, it contains only 1 electron. So that hydrogen can actually lose 1 electron. So the valency of that particular atom will be 1, and hence since it is losing an electron, it is having a positive charge, that is +1. Now similarly, you can take example for beryllium. Beryllium has a valency of 2, that is, it can lose 2 electrons and it can form an ion which is Be2+. Similar is the case for boron. Here the valency increased from 2 to 3 and the charge that it gets will be 3+. Now an important thing is that for an atom to be stable, it needs to have 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, and In the case of carbon, you have got 4 electrons in the outermost orbit, which means that it can either lose 4 electrons or gain 4 electrons. So basically it's half fill stability for carbon. So in such a case, they do not actually donate or they do not actually accept electrons. Instead, what they do is they simply share their electron with the other combining atom. So that is a special case for carbon. Next, we move on to the case of nitrogen. Nitrogen has got an electronic configuration of 2 and 5, which means that it can either lose 5 electrons or gain 3 electrons. For nitrogen, it is easy to gain 3 electrons, so it has got a charge of -3. Similar is the case for oxygen, it can easily gain 2 electrons, so it has got a charge of -2 and so on. So the ones with positive charges are called cations and the ones with negative charges are called anions. Now we move on to writing chemical formula for a compound. Now in order to write the chemical formula, you should keep in mind these rules. You should know the valencies of the cation and anion that is present in your compound. Then the metal should be written first and the non-metal should be written second, and then if it is a polyatomic ion like OH or SO4 2-, things like that, you have to enclose them in a bracket like this. So when you write a chemical formula, first you write the name of the metal and the non-metal. The next thing you do is write the valency just below it. So calcium has got a valency of +2 and OH has got a charge of -1. Now the next step is you simply interchange the valencies. So calcium will have 1 and OH will be having the charge 2. So when you write the formula, you get Ca and OH twice. Keep in mind that since it is a polyatomic ion, you have to enclose that in brackets. Another example can be aluminum oxide. Aluminum has got a valency of +3 and oxygen of -2. The next step is simply interchange the valencies. So aluminum will get charge of 2 and oxygen 3. So your formula will be Al2O3. So this is how you write a chemical formula. Next, we move on to the calculation of molecular mass. Molecular mass is nothing but simply adding the atomic mass of the elements which are present in your molecule. For instance, you have got H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Here you have got 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen, and the mass of hydrogen is 1 and mass of oxygen is 16. So you simply multiply 2 with 1, that is for hydrogen, and you simply add 16 to it. So you get the molecular mass of water. Same way you can calculate the formula unit mass as well. Simply a formula will be given and you have to calculate the mass in the same way. So that is all about molecular mass, and the next one is the most important concept, which is mole concept. Mole concept can be explained with 3 different conditions. That is, one, you can explain in terms of particles, or you can explain in terms of mass, or you can explain in terms of volume. If you are trying to explain the mole concept in terms of particles, you can say that 1 mole of any compound or any atom or any molecule will contain 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles. That is true for all the conditions. So if you say 1 mole, it definitely has 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles. It can be atoms, ions or molecules, it does not matter. And if you say there are 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 particles, then it means that the substance is 1 mole. This is the basic idea of mole concept. Now if you are talking in terms of mass, then 1 mole of the substance will be having a mass which is equal to the molar mass, and if you are having the molar mass, then you can say that substance is 1 mole. Similarly, in terms of volume, you can say that 1 mole contains 22.4 liter of your particular compound, and if you are saying there is 22.4 liter, then definitely that is equivalent to 1 mole. So this is the basic idea of mole concept. So in this video, we had discussed about the different laws of chemical combination. Then we saw how you write a chemical formula. Then we discussed about the valency, calculation of molecular mass and formula unit mass along with mole concept. I hope this video was very informative to you. Dear students, I hope you have had a fair understanding of the topic that we have discussed in this video. Learners Note believe in learning concepts by doing experiments, and we have many such experiments linked to your syllabus. So keep watching our videos and visit us at www.learnersnote.com. I am Sanjana, your chemistry teacher, signing off. Let's catch up through Learners Note online classes. Keep watching and have fun.